Lewis Maxwell, and I am so excited to, first of all, get to be first on the program, so I don't have to worry about all these big knockers trying to follow them. So I get to set the standards today. But first of all, let me say to the Bar Association, Mr. President, and the staff, and all of you here, first of all, it is an honor to have you in Macon County in Tuskegee. You know, I tell everybody, if you are Christian and you striving to go to heaven, you have finished one of the requirements. That is, you can't go to heaven unless you come through Macon County, Alabama. So we want to welcome you today here on behalf of the Macon County Commission, but most of all of the citizens of Macon County, because you know what you're doing is a blessing and honor for us. Because our own Honorable Fred Gray, he's ours, and we are just so honored to have him in our midst and to call him our own, because he's not only just a citizen, he's our friend, he's our neighbor, he's our lawyer. Whatever we need, we can call on him, and we thank you for taking time to honor him. So we definitely have to honor you for doing that. So we say on behalf of the citizens, first of all, welcome to Macon County, and thank you so much for all you're doing and for recognizing this time. So please know that if there's anything that we can do for you while you're here, just call on us, because we're here to serve you and do whatever we can. Thank you very, very much, and honor to our distinguished guests.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. My name is Bob Methvin, and I'm the president of the Alabama State Bar. And I am honored to be here on behalf of our 18,000 plus members, as well as our Board of Bar Commissioners. As many of you know, Mr. Gray is a past president of the Alabama State Bar. He was the 127th president from 2002 to 2003. Fred Gray became a lawyer because he understood that lawyers help folks. That's why he did it. And he has done his part to make this country a much better place by following through on his commitment to destroy everything segregated that he could find. Today, we are here to honor his life, his career, and the perpetual impact that he has made on the world by fighting for civil rights and for the foundations of justice. At our March 2021 meeting of the Board of Bar Commissioners in Montgomery, our governing board voted to adopt a series of resolutions to honor Mr. Gray and his life of service. I now want to read a little bit of those resolutions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Alabama State Bar, this day assembled, pays its highest respect and expresses its deepest gratitude to Fred David Gray, a true American hero who stood up for what he believed in despite the potential peril to himself and his family. Be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners of the Alabama State Bar wishes to permanently honor Fred David Gray for his steadfast humanity and exceptional service to the Alabama State Bar with the creation of the Fred David Gray Courtyard adjacent to the Alabama State Bar building. Mr. Gray, we are proud to present these resolutions to you. Your courage and your conviction continue to inspire all of us every single day of our lives. So if you'll please step forward. On behalf of the Alabama State Bar, we'd like to present these resolutions to you. And thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you and I appreciate the county And I appreciate you letting us do the legal work. But first, when you let us do the legal work, we'll be able to continue to do the kind of work that we've been doing. I want to thank the members of the Board of Bar Commissioners of the state of Alabama. And I want to thank our new executive director who's here. We appreciate her. We appreciate all those persons who work with them in that office, because without the staff, I think about Keith Norman and Ed Patterson, who really helped me when I was the president. I also want to thank you first for creating the Fred David Gray Courtyard adjacent to the Alabama State Bar Building. I want to acknowledge the presence of members of my family, my wife Carol, my second wife. You know, most people don't get a chance to have one good spouse. But when I lost my first one after over 40 years, I found another one. And for the last over 20 years now, she said she wanted to take care of me, and she's done an excellent job. Thank you. The children are here. Deborah, who's the executive director, and who really is responsible for all of this that you see. When we lost a mother and we're trying to get a museum together, she gave up her job and said, well, Dad, I'll come over and try to help you. And for the last 22 years, she was responsible really for that. Vanessa, my other daughter, who is the paralegal for Walter McGowan, who is a real, everybody liked Walter as a lawyer. And they're on the other side, off when they're with him. And after they've been on the other side, they always want to have him with them. And there he is. I talked about Van. And but Stanley is in court on one of our cases dealing with the school system over in Chambers County that's still in litigation. And who did I miss? Oh, here's Fred Jr. And his wife, Bridget. She is also a lawyer in our firm. And Stanley, of course, I told you about that. So Alan Nathanson, who's also a member of our firm, was tied up with some conferences that he couldn't get off of. And we're thankful for our staff, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do anything. Now, have I missed anybody? Judge of Probate, so happy to have him here. And we're thankful to each of you who have come to share in this presentation here today. I want to also thank the President for wanting to make this presentation here. I know how busy he was, and I know he had so many things to do. And I tried to throw it back and say, well, if you want me to come to Montgomery, I'll come. But then he said, I'm going to leave it up to you. So I am delighted that you decided to have it here in Tuskegee. You don't realize it, but let me tell you, because even our president is so young. But when I became the 127th president of the Alabama State Bar Association, the first edition of the Alabama Lawyer, which is the official publication of the bar, guess what? They had a picture of the then president and members of his family. And guess where it was taken? In front of the Tuskegee Human and Civil Rights Multicultural Center. And I just happen to have a copy of it here. So, Mr. President, we are simply delighted that you are having it here. I'm honored, I'm appreciative, and I'm humbled that the Board of Bar Commissioners deemed me worthy of this honor for, in their words, steadfast humanity and exceptional service I rendered to the Alabama State Bar during my presidential bar year as I served as the 127th president. My theme during that year was Lawyers Render Service. Subsequently, Lawyers Render Service was adopted by the Alabama State Bar Association as a motto. It is because lawyers render service, and that's what motivated me to become a lawyer, and I'm happy that I was able to do that. The creation of the Fred David Gray Courtyard adjacent to the Alabama State Bar building has special meaning to me. For me to have come from the west side of Montgomery, living on an unpaved street with no running water and very little electricity, now to have a garden on Dexter Avenue, less than 2 blocks from the Capitol, has a real special meaning to me. However, there are some other things that you probably don't know as to why this is so special to me. And let me share it with you. At one time, I owned the property diagonally across the street from the Alabama State Bar building at the southwest corner of Hull Street and Dexter. I used it as my law office and as an office building for others. On that block now sits the Alabama Appellate Courts. There is also a historical module honoring Fred D. Gray placed in front of that building by the City of Montgomery and the Alabama Department of Tourism. Finally, I accept it on behalf of the many men and women who did not physically participate in demonstrations, but were inspired in their own way to help solve problems in their own community, regardless of whatever problem they found. Because of what they saw others do in the civil rights movement, they were encouraged and they fought towards solving problems in their community. So it is with deep humility that I accept this award on behalf of all those unknown heroes and clients whose names never appear in print, whose faces never appear on television. They are the persons that laid the foundation so that you may honor me here today. Thanks for the recognition. I pledge to you that I will continue to fight for equal justice under the law and for the proper execution of a rule of law until all of God's children are truly free. Thank you, the members of the Alabama State Bar Association. and thank each of you for your presence to help me receive this award. May God continue to bless you. Thank you.
First of all, it is an honor to be invited to come to the memorial to give you this award and this resolution. And I think from hearing Mr. Gray's words, we certainly know why the bar commissioners and everybody wanted to honor you. I think one of the things I'm most excited about is you coming to Montgomery and seeing this beautiful courtyard that is going to be created. And when people walk into our bar building, it's the first thing they're going to see. And it's going to remind every lawyer and anybody that comes into that building that we stand for trust, integrity, and service. And that motto that you started almost 20 years ago, lawyers render service, is going to be carried on through the bar. Your life work is what the mission of the state bar is, Mr. Gray. And it's so exciting. You know, next year we're going to have car tags all over Alabama that are going to say, lawyers render service. We've got to get you one. It's going to be an exciting day when we break ground on that courtyard, and your legacy will continue as part of that state bar. I just want to thank you so much for being an inspiration to so many people, an example for your community, for your family, and for all the lawyers in the state of Alabama. Thank you so much, Mr. Gray, for who you are.